All right, folks, welcome in to Pickaxe and Roll, brought to you by our good friends over at Bet Online, number 38. I'm your host, Ryan Blackburn at NBA Blackburn on Twitter, part of the Mile High Sports Podcast Network. Apologies for the little bit of the delay. Swipe and I were both very busy people. I am moving. Swipe is doing his thing. We've got so much that's going on right now, but we're in here. We are having fun. We're gonna make it work. Swipa, how you doing, my guy?
I'm living, bro. It's been a good last couple days. Going to a Braves game tonight, and yeah, man, just trying to take care of anything and everything, bro. So it's
a lot of stuff to take care of, though. You got so much stuff going on. You've been telling me all about the stuff that you're doing at Player's Choice, and just how long that process can take, and just how much you're giving it to. So everybody, make sure to go check out Player's Choice. It's a relatively new platform that's a good debate platform that I hope everybody has already.
What kind of style of content would you call Player's Choice?
I would call it argumentative. Is that fair?
Sure. Okay. Argumentative.
Debate style, argumentative. That's how I would personally call it. But what would you ascribe?
So basically, you black barbershop. Is that what you're saying?
That's not the wording I was gonna say, but it's the best place for it, man. And it makes a lot of sense, and it's entertaining as hell. So I know it's just that's a part of the process. And Player's Choice is there is a place for a lively discussion about all of your favorite topics, and Swipa, you command the room in there a lot of the time. So it's always fun to be able to see everybody continue to grow like that.
Player's Choice, something a menswear club for guys like Ryan. Okay.
Damn right. Damn straight.
No. Yeah. Oh gosh.
For what it's worth, I don't know if we've got it set up yet. I think super chats are finally set up on this podcast and on this platform for the live streams. So if anybody wants to test that out for me, that would be great. I just wanted to make sure that it was working. But yeah, we're setting that up here as well. So if you guys are interested, Pickaxe and Roll, there'll be some super chat capabilities. I know guys like Cedric Exquisite were asking for it. So hopefully we could get that going. That sounds like a fun thing.
I think Cedric has a I won't say if it's a YouTube channel now or something.
Yeah.
I think he, after Grace and Will started one, I think Cedric started one. I think after everybody looked at my YouTube channel over the last several years, they were like, "Oh, anybody can do this, so let's go ahead and start it." I agree.
That's the takeaway. It literally is anybody can do this.
Literally anyone can do this. He has a backyard. He has a backyard set up over here. Let's just go ahead and get a podcast. Like Grace and Will, shout out to them. They already have the What's in the Game podcast. They already have a nice slide, nice little graphics, nice little standstill stuff. They had the Russell Westbrook graphic that went up right away. I was like, this is a nice production.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then you look at me, it's just me just
title, thumbnail, nothing else matters. Believe me.
People will talk to me like, so how much editing do you do for your shows? I'm like, editing. No, those 15 to 20 minute runs you see me go on, that's all off the top of the head.
Yeah, man.
That's all raw out in the world, raw internet information.
Yeah,
unfiltered.
It's because you're the GOAT, though. That's what happens. You get it off the dome piece.
You want a needless run on Chris Dunn? No, I'm your man.
We'll talk about it all. We've got plenty of stuff to go over today. But yeah, I don't know if the super chats are actually set up, but we'll figure that out. I wanted to talk today to you about Russell Westbrook. We did a video yesterday that was kind of an instant reaction kind of video. Wanted to make sure that we got something up. This is more of an extended conversation on what his fit is, how things are going, some of the immediate reaction that happened after the Russell Westbrook signing. There's a lot of people that are obviously Russ is a very polarizing player. Oh, hey, look, it works. It works. Super chat. Thank you, Hurricane. 1,000 likes during the live, and Ryan posts whole. Thank you, my guy. That is not binding, not a legally binding contract, despite the fact that you paid money to say it.
$2 for that.
You spent $2 for that thing. Thank you.
I don't get that. I don't get those kind of requests on my channel. I'm just saying.
Hurricane is one of a kind. He is he or she one of a kind for sure. Either way, so obviously everybody's got an opinion on the Russell Westbrook stuff. I think that it's important for us to make sure to expand upon our thoughts from yesterday. We obviously did our instant reaction. Do you have any kind of additional thoughts on Russell Westbrook at this point?
Yeah, I mean, a few. I think that this is going to be this is just turned into a almost like a litmus test for your Russell Westbrook bias in one way, shape, or form. So you're either an extreme Russ can come in, he can be a starter, Paul Pierce, Keyshawn Johnson, he can get in there, give them a lot of energy, be the lead guard, make Jamal Murray go to the 2, be able to cut back door and all that stuff, and then he can replay. Now, it doesn't mean the Nuggets are getting any better, but he can get in there, start for KCP. Then you have the other end. Russ is terrible. As my boy Ox said today on Player's Choice, he's the worst per minute player in the NBA. There's nothing that you can do with him, and he's not a shooter. He makes dumb basketball decisions, low IQ, and I just cannot understand the move for the life of me. And then very educated people that I very much respect and love, are saying that like he's going to be, this is a poor replacement for KCP. And I'm just like, I have intentionally stayed out of like the fray when it comes to that stuff, because it's just like, well, no, that's none of that's based on hoops. Like, you just either like Russ or don't like Russ. And like,
Right.
he has a whole fan club. And I'm like, I'm not a stan, but I do like Russ. I don't think he's like that great of a player anymore, but also like he's replacing Reggie Jackson. So if you're asking me, is he a better approximation for a winning basketball player than Reggie Jackson? And I'm saying, yeah. I mean, pretty clearly for me. And so for me, I just think Russ is going to be slotting in for Reggie Jackson. He's going to start at times when Jamal's not there. And if Russ plays well enough to where people are having real conversations about him being the 2 guard, then good for Russ and the Nuggets. You're getting 2,000% value on a $3.3 million a year contract for 1 year. And I think he is going to have an opportunity with Russell Westbrook, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, Vlatko Čančar, Dario Saric, and the rotation of starters, where he's going to have like a really good team around him all the time. And I think he can elevate that team in a lot of ways, as a, again, playmaker, as a passer, as a cutter, as a rim runner a little bit on the baseline, like just moving off ball, pick and roll, getting downhill, slashing, cutting. Now, again, Russ, it would be nice if he shot 33% from 3. It would be wonderful. But will he do it? Probably not. So Russ is just going to be about optimizing what you do well. And then how can the Nuggets make sure that they have the spacing and adequate help around him? And again, him and Jamal, like, Jamal figuring out how to help Russ integrate his skill set, and then, being willing to like take a playoff ball and be like because Jamal Murray's also an elite spot up shooter. Like, Michael Porter Jr. is an elite spot up shooter. Jokic has traditionally been a very good spot up shooter. And again, Julian Strawther, bro, like moving off ball while Russ has the ball, like with all the gravity and momentum he's going to have, like, I just think there's going to be a lot of things they can do together. And even AG and Russ, I know people are worried about the fit with the shooting and all that, but look, AG and Russ, even in the pick and roll options and stuff, and then AG roaming the paint. Because that's the thing. People are like, well, what if you're helping off AG? Well, okay, if you're helping off of AG on the baseline, well, then the Nuggets always take advantage of that. So it's just a matter of, then, okay, we're finding him as many opportunities as a vertical spacer as possible. So you can get creative with how to use him. But once again, you're comparing him not to KCP, you're comparing him to Reggie Jackson. And does Russell Westbrook give the Nuggets more optimization with their lineups than Reggie Jackson did? Then, yeah, for me, it's a pretty clear yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to go into that, like a lot of different things. I want to circle back to your initial point on, hey, the fact that like they're not replacing KCP with Russell Westbrook. That's been a sentiment that's been talked about, kind of in a joking manner from the Lakers folks, because they also remember when they replaced KCP with Russell Westbrook and how poorly it went. That was a poor team in terms of the poor concepts, and Russ clearly did not fit into that. Denver has a lot better of a fit around what Russell Westbrook is supposed to be than that Lakers team did. And they also have a more defined role for what Russell Westbrook is supposed to be with this group, rather than, hey, we need you to be a third all-star. We need you to do the same production that you had in Washington. Like, that's what they were looking for. They wanted somebody to take pressure off of LeBron.
Right.
I think what the Nuggets are going to try to do is take some pressure off of Russ. And I think that's fine. Now, there's a variety of different things to sort of go over here. They're replacing KCP with Christian Brown. They are replacing Christian Brown with Julian Strawther. They are replacing Reggie Jackson with Russell Westbrook. And they're replacing Justin Holiday with Dario Saric.
Yeah.
That's like how they have done this so far. And I think that each of those things is mostly logical. KCP to Christian Brown is, I think, a downgrade, at least in the initial. And then the Justin Holiday versus Dario Saric thing, that's something that we can talk about. Denver has a lot of bigs, and they do not have a lot of wings anymore. And that is something that we'll have to get into at some point. But they are not replacing Russell Westbrook is not replacing KCP. That is not how they are trying to do it. Like, he's going to come off the bench. And if he starts, then it's going to be for a good reason. Michael Malone, I do not think, wants to start Russell Westbrook.
No, but I think for me, functionally, people are saying, well, will Russell Westbrook be okay with coming off the bench and accepting that role? And I'm like, look, I'm not saying that like there was a point in time where he struggled with that with the Lakers, but Russ is a veteran minimum again on a team that he just got signed from after being waived by the Jazz and traded by the Clippers again. He's with the Jazz twice in the last 2 years as just to get waived. And so, and again, you probably remember, I said I wanted Westbrook last year over Reggie Jackson. I've been clear about this. I think that he is a great approximation for what Bruce Brown is, and I just think he's a better player. And I think even in the playoff setting, you know, people this idea of Reggie Jackson as this like pull-up shooter and stuff, like he definitely had his moments, but again, like I just would rather have consistent opportunities and defense and everything as opposed to what Reggie was. And Reggie was, again, he played 82 games last year. Russell played 68 because he had a broken hand and all that kind of stuff. But like Reggie, bro, we would literally be watching the game, Ryan, and like he would be laying on the court, like kneeled over because he's dealing with like a chest contusion or something like
That's
that all
true.
the time. And like
anytime he got decked by Rudy Gobert or somebody trying to get into the paint, like finally driving the rim and then like just a wild ass shot and then just falling all over the ground. It was bad to watch.
And then people are going to say, well, you know, Russ is going to make mistakes next year. And I'm like, I remember late game, Ryan, in Denver, Reggie Jackson tried Victor Wembanyama twice. Like, and we couldn't believe our eyes, like that was happening. So yeah, this is what you get for that position. But, you know, people even ask him, said today on like Players Choice, for instance, you know, what if Russ is like 6 man of the year candidate averaging 14 points a game? I said, I don't think Russ will be in that situation, number one. And I think more so Julian Strawther has a better opportunity to be a leading scorer off the bench just because of the skill set. And Michael Malone already wants to run plays for him and all that. I mean, we'll find out.
Yeah, I think there's I guess a possibility, but like Russ is going to have the ball in his hands a ton.
Right.
And that's I think the point. That's what you want with kind of replacing Reggie Jackson with him, because Russ can handle that like schematically and systematically. Like that's what he's done for his entire career, while Reggie's kind of been in and out in that sort of realm. And that he, at this stage of his career, Reggie was never going to be able to handle that the way that the Nuggets kind of put it on him. So I think Russ is better suited to be able to make some of those plays and handle some of those like heavy bench lineups than somebody like Reggie Jackson was. But like, that's what it's going to be. It's not going to be Russ starting next to Murray, Porter, Gordon, Jokic, and then playing 30 minutes a game. That's ludicrous. That's not what's going to happen. The Nuggets need defense. They need spacing. They want Christian Brown to develop into that. And I think that he's got a better chance.
Yeah, we'll talk about this too. I think that 2 spot is not locked for me. I think Christian has the lead on it. But if you're just outright telling me he's going to be better than Julian Strawther over the course of the season, or like I said, Peyton Watson, man, like I think people are just dismissing that because Peyton played the 4 last year, which again, he played out of position. And y'all heard me for months arguing with Ryan Blackburn about Peyton Watson playing the 4. And Ryan is like, oh, well, you know, I think he can do this. Like, I'm like, Bro, he's built like a guard and a wing, bro.
That's true.
He ain't got no muscle on him. He ain't got no muscle, none. He's like 6'7", lanky, bro. Stop putting him in the post.
Power forward is dead, my guy.
No, it's not. Jeff Green and Vlaco are 4s. Zeke Naji should be a 4.
They also don't play.
Yes, they did. Jeff Green did play.
Okay, Jeff Green and he didn't play.
Vlaco did play, and then he got hurt. And he would have been their backup 4 last year.
Yeah,
and so if he was healthy last year, then he would have been playing the 4. Peyton would have been playing the 3. Then Christian and Julian would have been kind of going back and forth and all that other kind of stuff. And then Reggie Jackson. But like I said, Reggie Jackson just did not make sense on the team. I think he's a really good dude. I really appreciate. He was very nice, very good dude, like very nice person to be around, but he just didn't fit the culture of the roster.
Makes sense. It'll be all right. I think that this is going to be fine. I think there's a blow up potential for it. We'll have to figure it out. But I honestly think that more than anything, like he is on a minimum contract, and if it doesn't work, then Denver can pivot at the trade deadline, and they could add.
Oh, you know why?
Different.
Because they're not over the second apron.
Yeah. Hey, pretty logical. I agreed with that move by Calvin Booth and the Nuggets front office. I didn't necessarily agree with the way that they filled out the rest of their roster, but we can cross that bridge when we come to it. Real quick before we hit a break, what lineups are you most excited to see with Russell Westbrook in them for this Nuggets team?
Russell Westbrook, Julian Strawther, Michael Porter Jr., Vlaco Chanchar, and then Nikola Jokic. Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Saric. Russell Westbrook, Nikola Jokic, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, and then like one of Vlaco in that spot as well. Again, not a lot of shooting, but really good defensive team. But again, we've already seen this. Jokic doesn't need to have a bunch of shooters. Can you play smart, competitive basketball in times? And then, they can do that. So I think Russ and Jokic lineups can be really good. I think the Russ and Saric, Vlaco lineups could also be good, depending on how he's able to utilize the rest of them. And then Julian Strawther again, and Peyton Watson, they're not all 5 of them might be on the bench all or on the floor all at once, but I think that personnel grouping plays really well next to like Murray and others. Even Jamal Murray and Russell Westbrook, bro. Think about it. If you got Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook in a playoff setting with Aaron Gordon, and they're staggering, Michael Porter Jr. and let's say Vlaco, in that spot or whatever else. Look, to me that can carry. Like they can carry 6-8 minutes. Without Joker being on the court versus certain teams. And again, Russ just has value. Like he just has a lot of value to a roster. And I think he's going to make sense with some things. But I think if the Nuggets didn't have Sarge, Vlaco, and then again, bro, if they had Deron Holmes, which is, I just hope he gets healthy. That was another dude that would work really well next to Russell Westbrook. But really it's going to come down to Vlaco and Sarge staying healthy, bro. Like they're going to have to stay healthy.
Yeah, that to me, like if Vlaco can actually shoot 40% from 3 or pretty close to it, and Saric can replicate the shooting that he had last year, then there is some spacing opportunity for Russ to kind of do his thing and be able to drive the lane, do what he does best, and that's get into the lane, spray it back out the shooters, and then kind of slash to the rim like that. I kind of like that idea. Some lineups that I'm thinking. Russ plus the starters. You have Russ, Murray, MPJ, Gordon, Jokic. Like I think that there's I don't think that Denver should start that group, but I think that that'll be a group that Denver kind of goes to. It'll also probably be a closing group at times for Denver when they want another ball handler out there in place of Christian. MPJ staggering with the second unit, I think is going to be a big one. You've got Russ, Strawther, Peyton, MPJ, Dario. A run and gun lineup with Russ, Strawther, MPJ, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, I think could be fun. That's the one where we want to get stops on the defensive side and then run in transition. Bench plus Jokic, Russ, Strawther, P-Watt, Vlaco, and Jokic. And then the stars plus the bench lineup. I think that this one will be interesting. Russ, Jamal, Strawther, Watson, Jokic. Denver played that lineup basically with KCP in place of Russ last year, and then they had Christian Brown in place of Strawther.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get a couple of young guys along with Murray, Jokic, and then Russ can be a part of that too. I like a lot of different combinations that they can go to. Most of them include Jokic. Some of them include Murray. I didn't have Christian Brown in there because I think that Russ and Christian's going to be kind of a tough fit. That's my impression right now, but that might change.
Yeah, I think that's going to be based on the shooting.
Mhm.
Defensively, they'll be good, but it's just a matter of Christian. Again, this is just, and I'm just being direct about this. Christian, you are not allowed to be a negative offensively. You are the starting shooting guard. You have to be a floor spacer. There is no if, ands, or buts. Starting two guards in the NBA, contending teams. Okay, Boston Celtics. That's Drew Holiday or Derek White, shooters. The OKC Thunder. That's Alex Caruso, shooter. Casey Wallace off the bench, shooter. If you look at the Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, obviously. You look at the Bucks, like I don't know whoever we
That'd be Gary Trent Jr.
Maybe he's starting. That's what I'm saying. And maybe if he's starting, shooter. Look at the freaking 76ers. Shooters. Like up and down the lineup. Kelly Oubre, if he slides up, they want to go big. Like I said, just go through it, bro. You have to be a shooter. So Christian not allowed to come into this league and next year as a starter and be like, I'm a mid-floor spacer. And you got to finish around the rim. And that 8.3 point percentage from mid-range next year, bro, that has to go. Good gracious. Like, you can't just – that's what I'm saying. It's Christian. If Calvin's going to play this game, Christian has to respond. It's that simple.
Real quick, we got a super chat from our guy, Cedric Exquisite. How good will the chemistry work with Saric and Russ? Thank you. I think it's going to be good, but I also I can understand why those guys would kind of be off base a little bit. I like the idea of Saric popping and then Russ driving to the rim. I think that makes a lot of sense. But Saric is also he can move to the rim. It'll go slowly, but he'll understand the spacing pretty well, I think.
Yeah, I think Saric ideally should be a good fit with this team. I did not originally want him because you know how I feel about non-defensive bigs. But just give him an opportunity. Why not?
We will see. All right. Thank you, Cedric. We were talking about you earlier in the show. Let's take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk about, are the Nuggets still a top-level contender this offseason? There's a lot of people that are saying no. There's a lot of people that don't think so. We will be right back. But first, I want to talk to you about number 38, our resident affiliate in the Rhino area for all of your watch party needs. If you want to go there, just hang out at the bar. Rhino, the number 38 in Rhino will absolutely take care of you. Get those wristbands on, scan them, just pay that way. You can get all the food, all the drink, get it for a party, get it for your crew. All you got to do is scan that wristband. They'll take care of you. Very kind people over there. We know the owners over there. They're awesome. And they've taken care of us. We'll be doing pregame watch parties or like pregame podcasts and live shows, postgame shows, things of that nature during the regular season. Should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to keep working with them. Make sure to check them out and let them know that you came from Mile High Sports. We'll be right back on Pickaxe and Roll. And we're back. Pickaxe and Roll, Ryan Blackburn here. Weekends with Swipa episode. We'll try to get these going a little bit more frequently over the course of this time. It's been very, very busy for both Swipa and I during this stretch, and we're doing our best here. So thank you so much for tuning in. Very excited to see what happens for these next few weeks for Denver, but I think that they're probably done. I think that for the most part, they're done. Maybe they could make a move. I know that they've still tried to shop Zeke around a little bit. Jalen Pickett's obviously struggled in Summer League. We'll talk about him in the third segment, but I think that Denver, they've got 15 on their roster now, assuming that DeAndre Jordan signs. And I think that he will. He was a part of recruiting Russ to Denver. So, not sure why he wouldn't sign with Denver.
Would you rather have had Drummond on this team for $5 million or Saric?
That's a good question. given that Russ is the option here for point guard, I think Saric fits with him a little bit better than Drummond would.
Mm-hmm.
But if they had a little bit more of a shooter at the point guard position than somebody like Russ, then I think that you'd want Drummond every time.
Do you think the Clippers see my tweets?
It's a good question. Have you been tweeting about Chris Dunn lately?
Yeah, for a year. A year.
That was a joke.
A year. A full year. And, let's just trade Russell Westbrook and a second-round pick for Chris Dunn. I'm just like...
It's a good idea.
Well, Calvin, why are you force trading Reggie Jackson to Charlotte with 3 second-round picks if you could just get Chris Dunn for a player and a second-round pick? That doesn't make sense to me. And they're a second apron team.
I'm not sure why they did it.
They're a second apron team, by the way.
Yeah, they were able to find a.
They're able to get your little rule book out of here, sir. they're in the class of no-isms.
I have no idea what's going on with the CBA. I do my best, I really do, but like nobody in the league or like covering the league knows anything that's going on. Adam Silver actually answered a question about that from Howard Beck, I think earlier this week. And I thought that was interesting that like the question even had to be asked, that like nobody knows what's going on with the CBA. Nobody has any idea, including on the teams.
Right.
So
yeah, it's like, silly. So if you're saying that I could have got Chris Dunn in this deal for that cheap, gabagoo.
Yeah. Had a feeling. Had a feeling.
Tony Soprano, gabagoo. I mean, what do you want me to do with this, man?
Paulie,
Paulie, what do you want me to do with this, man?
So you'll laugh. I have never seen The Sopranos before.
Ryan, you're not cultured. We've been over this before.
Look, I'm watching Breaking Bad for the first time right now with my brother. Like, I'm trying. There's a lot going on.
There's not that much going on, Ryan. You've been using that excuse for years.
Yes, there is. I know Breaking Bad's been out for a long ass time. Like I could have absolutely watched Breaking Bad at any time. But I'm trying. I really am trying, people. Like it's just I don't want to sit in front of a screen like
stop it. As soon as Ryan finds his love of his life, that's also a nerd and loves information and all that kind of stuff, because we're all nerds. Let's just be honest. We're all nerds. As soon as he finds his co-nerd, then, he can be watching shows all the time. I've watched Love Island before, English version, okay? I've watched Love Is Blind, all 5 seasons. Like, I've seen all that stuff. I've watched Perfect Match at different points. Like, I'm here. Like, it's the name of the game. You just got to do it. You got to sacrifice for your team. Did you want to win championships? You got to turn on Love Is Blind. If you want to win, this is the path. All right, be a role player. Play your role. Ryan's always trying to diddle-daddle over here. Russell Westbrook 2021, Ryan Blackburn, diddle-daddling over here. Come back to the team.
I watched all 3 seasons of Bridgerton. Does that count?
First off, you're not including Queen Charlotte? That's what I'm hearing.
No, I have not included that. That aspect I have not included.
You haven't seen Queen Charlotte?
No.
Ryan, how can you not watch the best iteration of what Bridgerton is and then have watched season 3 and 2? So just to be clear, most people, educated people, including myself, okay, we go Queen Charlotte, season 1 of Bridgerton, Gap, season 2, Gap, season 3. So you have literally missed the most significant storyline and best story. Somebody tell them in the chat.
I didn't know.
Queen Charlotte is the best iteration.
I didn't know.
You don't ask. You're just spot up shooter on the wrong team over there.
That's true. I'm a spot up shooter, except I'm like Aaron Gordon spotting up consistently as opposed to like Klay Thompson. Although Klay 0 of 10 in his last game spotting up for the Golden State Warriors, that's for sure.
And Aaron Gordon shot 50% from 3 in the second round, by the way. So
that's true. That's true. Hey, sorry, my fault, Aaron. Okay, let's get back on track because we've got people that are wondering what they are watching right now. Evil Lord Beer says, "What the fuck did I just tune into?" I understand. I get it. Are the Nuggets still top level contenders after this offseason? Because I think that it's fair to have criticisms of what they did.
lost KCP, and all of a sudden you're not top level contenders. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but KCP averaged 8 points a game in the playoffs.
I agree.
Did he even make 30% of his threes in the playoffs?
He made, I think, 32%.
Okay. So, and then KCP was also really good this year. I think he had an argument for first team All NBA. But Christian isn't like this far away as a defender. The question is going to be, can Christian step up as an offensive player? But then guess what? Julian Strawther, can you step up and hit shots? Last year you shot 29% from three with great mechanics. You just couldn't consistently hit because you're a rook. So this year you shoot better, Christian plays better, and then Russell plays better than Reggie did last year. Dario, Vlaco, Peyton's better. And again, if Peyton Watson takes a leap this year, everyone, I want people to understand this. He's in your conversation for the starting 2 guard because he was better than Christian Brown was for majority of last year, Ryan. I don't want to rewrite history. He was. And so if he continues to take steps forward as a 6'7" wing that has a good offensive game, that's good in transition, good mid-range, good spot-up shooter, and he's able to create a little bit, then the team has gotten better. So, and again, if Jamal Murray, he played 59 games last year. The Nuggets went 44-15 when he played. 44-15.
Pretty good.
If Jamal Murray plays 65 games this year, they win at a similar pace, y'all. That's a 61-win pace. If he plays, let's just say he plays 6 to 7 more games this year. Jokic plays 7 less games this year. I think they balance out. They're already on track to win 54 games as it is. The question becomes, can they get into a playoff setting and have enough answers? But once again, if Jamal Murray doesn't have a calf injury, we're not having this dumb conversation anymore. Because, again, they would have beat the Wolves. They would have beat the Mavericks because the Mavericks just don't have the personnel. They just do not have the personnel. And then the conversation becomes them and the Celtics again. So a lot of this is just a lot of people were just so flabbergasted that they lost in Game 7 because they had 3 15-plus point leads, Ryan, in the last 5 games of that series. And they choked it away because their offense wasn't good enough. So if the starters don't have to play 950 minutes next year, then cool. If they can play 700, 800, then cool, Ryan. We're cooking. But can the bench just be better? And again, maybe they don't need to win 57 games. Maybe they can just settle down, kick back the rest of the roster at the end of the year, 52 wins, 3rd seed, 4th seed. And now you go into the playoff with a healthy Jokic, healthy Murray, healthy Gordon, healthy Porter. Oh, you're cooked. And again, everybody, I think the thing is, people are so disconnected from it because of the playoff loss. When they played Boston, the champions, fully healthy both times, they show there's a level we can get to. It's just Minnesota was the perfect matchup for them. And they also had horrible shooting luck in the second half of Game 7. So, look, I don't think that it's just going to be easy and everything else, but y'all, people are just they have Murray, Gordon, Porter, and Jokic, and it's how good will they actually be because they lost KCP? And I'm saying that, I wanted them to keep KCP, but if you're asking me based on the totality of what they have on the roster, then yeah, they're still a really freaking good team that's at the top of the league. It's just now the Thunder and the Celtics for me that are there, and it's just about. And again, most people don't think Dallas is there, and they just went to the finals.
Yeah.
So I don't know, bro. I mean, at least for me, I'm just trying to take a step back away from the moment. They still have maybe the best core 4 in the league. How far are they away from having the best 5-man unit in the league again? Half a year? A quarter of the year?
It's a good question. It's fair. I think that it is fair to not have Denver in the top tier because I think that the Boston Celtics are the only team that deserves to be in the top tier right now.
Oh my gosh.
They won 60 plus games, and then didn't they go 16-3 in the playoffs?
16-3. Oh,
yeah.
16-3. No.
Well, you can't
Butler.
talk about how Denver went 16-4, how they dominated the competition, and then Denver faced the teams that they did, and then bemoan the Celtics going 16-3.
They played a team with no, and I'm not again. I know how this is going to go. Shout out Dan Greenberg and them. I've been arguing with Celtics fans all year. Why aren't they getting more respect? They won 16-3 because they literally didn't play versus a healthy team that had their top dude for half the series in all 3 of their series. Hallie was out half the series. Donovan Mitchell out half the series, and no Jaren Allen, and no Jimmy Butler for the entire series. So yeah, you 1,000%. It's a different. That is one of the weakest runs through their conference we have seen in modern NBA history. Doesn't take away from how good they are. But if you're asking me, like, again, if the Nuggets played versus the Celtics, again, a lot of this is, I think people are just so disconnected from what happened on the court and the Wolves loss. But again, 1,000%, Celtics deserve to be in tier 1. I think the Thunder do. I think the Thunder are cooking. They look great.
Thunder, like I think that they're going to be great in.
Oh, here we go. Watch. Here, I know when you're about to do something. I can hear it in your voice. Go ahead, say it.
Look, I thought that the Thunder collapsed being a young team that they were in the second round. I think that they're going to win 60 plus games in this next like regular season, and they'll be the top seed for sure. But I also think that it's fair to not have them on the same tier as the Celtics. Like heading into the season, they'll probably prove that they deserve to be there. But like Jalen Williams has got to show up a little bit better. Chet Holmgren's got to show up a little bit better. And they will. Like I assume that they will, but you got to prove it first. The 5 teams that I have in tier 2 behind the Celtics in tier 1 are
Let me guess.
Celtics by themselves tier 1. This is how I wrote it down.
Under Minnesota, Denver, the freaking 76ers, and the Knicks.
I've got the Mavericks, the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Sixers, and the Knicks.
Who did I miss? Who did you not have in there?
I didn't have the Wolves in there.
Oh my gosh.
Is it that crazy to think that they won't be able to recreate what they did?
Okay, we're doing that, and not with the Celtics or the Thunder.
The
Celtics had unbelievable health luck and unbelievable shooting luck all year and unbelievable luck in the playoffs. They didn't play anybody. And then on top of that, if we're doing that, since we gotta do that, then on the other end of that, like, hey, the Thunder are gonna regress because they had unbelievable health all year. 70 plus games from all their starters. So if we're doing that and you can't recreate it, then we can't penalize the Wolves and then not penalize the Thunder because they both had great health last year, save Karl Anthony Towns for the last month.
I just tend to think that it's going to be way tougher for the Wolves to recreate being this unbelievable elite defense every single season, which takes a whole bunch of effort. Takes a whole bunch of effort during the regular season.
What else they going to do? Play offense?
Say what?
What else they going to do? Play offense? They're not going to be a top 12 offense. So like, what else they going to do?
That's what I'm saying. Is like I think that they'll probably drop down to like the 3rd best defense in the league because they're far and away number 1.
They got Rudy Gobert in the court. He's always leading the number 1 defense.
He's getting older, man. Getting older. Like this. What? He is. Like that's
32.
Look, we can argue all about it. More of what. Okay, let's circle back to the Nuggets. Because that's the thing I think most people care about. I think it's fair to not have them in a tier with the Celtics right now because the Celtics have an easier path. They have like all these guys that they've brought back.
Respect Knicks.
I mean, fine, but like, are the Knicks a better team than the Thunder or the?
No, I'm saying an easier path. You're saying through the East is going to be an easier path than through the West?
I think so still, yeah.
Well, if the East is healthy, I don't know. But who knows? Because Giannis ain't been healthy. Embiid's almost never healthy late run. And then
that's what I'm saying.
The Knicks they just get torn apart because Tom Thibodeau plays them 45 minutes a game.
Those guys will each average 45 minutes a night in the month of January, and they will surprisingly be tired in April. But I do think that they're they have a really great roster. They really do. The larger point here is that the reason why Denver's not tier 1 to me, they can still win a title. Any team in tier 2 can win a title, no doubt. But here's the 9-man playoff rotation that the Nuggets are going to have. They've got the starters. They've got Russ. They've got Strawther. They've got Watson. They've got Sarge. Christian Brown is, of course, a new starter. He's got big shoes to fill. They got to get that to work out. Russ shot 26% from the field last year in the playoffs, like 13 of 50.
What did KCP shoot?
That's hard to do.
What did KCP shoot?
Way higher than 26%. That's for sure.
Let me see. I'm going to look it up myself.
Probably like 42.
Apparently, he doesn't have the numbers. I'm looking up myself.
40, 42.
Since he wants to use stat use for one player. But I agree with you. Russ is not that type of player, but you're talking about the Nuggets' 8th man, 7th man, 8th man.
I'm about to talk about all of them. Saric, through January last year, he shot 48, 41, 85. Was unbelievable efficiency. And then after that, in the final 20 regular season games, He shot 39, 19, 82. Like
by
he
the way,
dropped off a cliff.
KCP shot 39% in playoffs.
Okay, that's still 50% higher than what Russ shot, which is like
50. Are you doing the math between 26 and 39? Ooh, look at me.
Yeah. Look at that.
The harder route instead of just saying 13%, whatever.
That is true, though. I was right. Like I said, Saric, like he fell off during the regular season for the Warriors. They were happy to let him go. He had a DNP CD in the play-in game for them. Like he was healthy. He was ready to go. He did not play. They did not think that they could win with him. Strawther has played 500 career minutes in his career so far. And then Peyton Watson last year, rightly or wrongly, got benched in the playoffs. And of course, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, all of those guys each had their own playoff problems last year at various points. And I think like the only guy that you really don't have any questions about is Jokic.
Maybe, apparently not for Ryan because he's regressed as a shooter. He regressed as a defender. Is he still going to be at the top of the leaderboard? Luka closed the gap. Ryan said all this stuff at the end of the year. So let's see. Are you going to hold that same thing towards Jokic that you did for the Minnesota Timberwolves? Let me know. Let me know. Are you going to be consistent on this?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jokic has regressed as a shooter and as a defender, so therefore the Nuggets are cooked.
He's regressed as a shooter. I don't think he's actually regressed as a defender.
He regressed as a defender last year.
He didn't have as good of a season as a defender. And like he's just never going to be an elite playoff defender because like he's just got limitations.
What do you mean? He already never mind. Team defender, sure. They were great. They had number 3 playoff defense 2 years ago, but I do understand what you're saying.
They were great, and they had the right personnel around.
Why? Because they had Bruce Brown and athletes on the court instead of Reggie Jackson and others.
I don't disagree with you. The larger point is that Denver's just got a lot of question marks. They've got a lot of things that they have to answer, and the hope is that all of those things go right.
Welcome to NBA basketball. The Celtics. Who was the Celtic top 9?
You had
Drew,
Tatum,
Derek,
Drew,
Brown,
Derek White, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Horford,
Pritchard.
Okay, we're doing this at the same time.
So Horford, Pritchard,
Hauser was good for them. And then I don't even know if they had a 9th. Like maybe it's one of the other bigs. Like
I guess
Cornette.
Xavier Tillman maybe when he needed to get some minutes, but then
I think Cornette played more than him.
Yeah, one of those dudes. Jaden Springer maybe this next year.
O'Shea Brissett. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like Jaden Springer can.
That's a mid 5 to 9, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. 6 to 9. That's a mid 6 to 9. That's pretty mid.
I don't disagree with you. I think that Horford's a better player than Russ, though. And like, are you insane?
Is he better than Peyton Watson?
Okay, what a switch up. I don't care.
Who's the best player off the Nuggets bench? Not Russ.
Yeah, it's not Russ. It's probably going to be Peyton Watson.
Okay, then is Peyton better than their best player off the bench?
Al Horford has clearly.
He's like 49 years old.
I know, and he keeps doing it, man. Like he's
to who? Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? If you want to play in the Eastern Conference versus Giannis, just stand there, Al Horford.
He did it to Joel.
What? Did you see Joel and FIBA trying to spot fouls?
It was so funny.
He's the only one that tried to do it on the whole team. Everybody's just like, bro, what is he doing? This is not America. You can only get away with that in the States.
Okay. Let me address this comment. Jokic is still the best player in the world.
I don't know.
He's Ryan, still like
convince me. You got to convince me now.
Jesus Christ. I am not doing this. I am not doing this. I am not going to be made a villain on my own podcast. Jokic is still the best player in the world.
From Jokic at this point now.
Because here's the thing. Jokic would not have gotten cooked the way that Luka got cooked in the finals. Like that's a fact. Like that's true. And especially offensively, because that's the thing. Like Luka did not do enough offensively or defensively. Larger point being, like I said, can Denver win a title? Absolutely. Like, should they be favored to win the West? That's a harder question. And like, I think that before they should have been favored. Like last year, they should have been favored because they had the veteran experience. They had everything kind of going for them. Even if you disagreed with like the 6, 7, 8, 9 that they had, they still had enough depth to kind of get through it.
Who?
And then things just kind of fell apart.
Nuggets?
Go ahead.
The Nuggets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the starters weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the starters weren't good enough. Like, yeah, if they were better, then they win that series. Jamal Murray wasn't good enough. He had 18 points a game on bad efficiency in the second round. That's not good enough.
Obviously.
I'm sorry, it's not good enough.
Like, Jamal's got to be way better. Porter's got to be better than the second
And right
round.
now, in this show, one of us is acting like an injured Jamal Murray. That's all I know. Not going to say who, but they know who they are.
They do. They do, clearly. Yeah, I think that favored coming out of the West, I think it's probably OKC this year. I think that they're going to have the easiest path because they're going to be the 1 seed.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be
Denver.
Yeah. They've got Isaiah Hartenstein now. They've got Alex Caruso now. Like, they didn't lose anybody, and they added 2 really good players.
Really good players.
So, like, it's fair. It's fair to, I think, put them into that tier, or maybe
are there going to be 3 teams win 56+ games again this year in the West?
In the West, no, because I don't think that Denver does. I think that Denver will be like 53, and I think that OKC is going to be like 61.
Maybe there's 4 with 53+ wins with Memphis in there.
You could go Dallas too.
Who is putting Dallas in there?
In terms of winning, like, I don't see a reason why they can't win that much.
Okay.
Why
Good luck,
can't
sir.
they?
Because they're like a +4 when Luka's on the court. So they're not like a great regular season team.
I think they'll be better with him on the court this year. Because here's my take is that Lively's going to be so much better going forward. Just he's
running and dunking.
Guys. Well, he's just going to be one of those guys that like plays more and more and more. And he's going to play with Luka freaking Doncic, and it's going to be really.
What does that mean?
And like, I just think that they're going to like. It's going to make a lot of sense for them to like they're going to be like +7.
So what's Memphis going to be this next year with with Ja, Bane, Gigi, and Jaren Jackson Jr. and
they ain't starting Gigi. Ain't no way.
They just got rid of Vince. Oh, they'll start. You think Smart's going to start?
Of course.
That's small. 1 through 3. Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, but they got to do it. Like they got that. He's the veteran on the team. They got to at least put that lineup together. But yeah, I'm actually curious what their 5 is going to look like. Are they going to slide Jaren to the 5 immediately? Are they going to start Santi Aldama, or are they going to start Edey?
No, they got to start a big next to JJJ. If they're going to go Smart at the Urbane at the 3, they have to go big at center.
That's interesting.
Ja's 6'3", and he's not big either. He's small.
Yeah,
Marcus is 6'3", and then Bane's like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, I mean,
maybe he might be a little taller than that.
Jaren's a great rim protector for sure, but yeah, no, I think this is going to be.
Hey, Patrick, would you relax? This is way more fun to listen to than the Ryan solo podcast. You talk about our duo. I don't even like Ryan, so no, I'm not doing any show with him. We're not friends.
That's
true. The thing is, y'all act like Ryan and I actually talk outside of this. We have a passing relationship. I see him at Ball Arena. We go like this, tip the cap. We keep talking. Ryan doesn't answer my call. Legit, dead. You can look at our phone right now. Hold on. There are back-to-back the day before and yesterday. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 blues in the text messages before Ryan responds to me. And then you look before that, the 20th of June, 1, 2, 3 blues, and then a DeAndre Jordan post, and then 2 more posts after that. That's 6 blues before Ryan responds.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You are pining away after me, aren't you?
And then
pining away.
On Friday, the 20th again, 1, 2, him respond, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then he responds. That's our relationship. Ryan does not associate with me. We will not be doing more shows together.
You are you're an absolute monster. I don't know how much of any of that was true. Do not listen to this fucker. Oh God. Okay. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're gonna wrap up with some summer league talk and just how the.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. No, we're really getting into the weeds here.
To be fair, there are some good things to talk about summer league. To be fair.
Yeah, I know. That's why I put it on the rundown. We'll be right back on Pickaxe and Roll. All right, we're back. Final segment, Pickaxe and Roll. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the show. This Weekends with Swipa. again, we'll try to continue to do more shows like this because it is fun. It's fun. I want to do this as much as possible. Like it breaks up the monotony of doing a solo podcast, as it was mentioned. So like, I understand. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. Summer League. Denver finally got a win on the board yesterday. Amid the Russell Westbrook news, Denver, they get the Russell Westbrook stuff. Swipa, your Jalen Pickett and Hunter Tyson thoughts. I think that is a good point because the Jalen Pickett thing it's been really tough, just really tough to watch.
Two older players that are both non-athletes on the team that, again, the Nuggets and Jokic and Murray need as many athletes as possible. So they didn't really fit it at first, but they look like they had some pop last summer league. Then they don't play at all this year because Malone said they're not ready to play, and I'm not going to play them for some veterans. So they don't play at all last year. And then they come into summer league, and they are all summer league games included. They're probably they're pretty sizably behind Julian Strawther, Trey Alexander, Deron Holmes, at least those three, and maybe the kid that just scored off the bench last game. What was his name?
Jameer
Young. They might be the fifth and sixth best players in the team in summer league right now. All the way around. I mean, Deron didn't play, but one
I think
game.
the Hunters played well enough. Like he hasn't been great, but he's also had the pressure of like being the focal point in a lot of those games. Hasn't necessarily handled it that perfectly, and I think that his defense has been pretty bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like if you're struggling in summer league with that, then the Nuggets can't use you yet. And some of this is, I think Hunter has looked better than Jalen. I'll say it like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, I just don't think you want the kids to be able to, and I say kids that's within the organization. These are grown men, but you want them to be able to function within their skill sets and be confident. And right now, neither one of them looks that confident. Now, Tyson, you at least can see it with him, that Ryan Anderson pull up, like he'll get the ball and fire, boom. Yeah. Like I love that about Tyson. But Jalen just doesn't look like it, man. And I think Trey Alexander far and away is going to be the third point guard on the roster. I don't even think that's a question for me at this point. He's just bigger, more talented, better offensive player, more defensive potential too. I just don't think there. I know you want different for Jalen, but Jalen just doesn't look good right now. But again, maybe he turns it around, and hopefully he does, because you don't want to see someone have that kind of thing happen early in their career. But right now, man, like I said, bro, Jalen, if Julian Strawther and Trey Alexander and Deron Holmes had all played throughout the course of this thing, you would feel really good about the summer league team, because you got three blue chips, three of them coming out of your system. But obviously now it's a Trey and it's going to be Julian, and so I think both of those players would be good to play.
I just feel bad for Deron Holmes and all of this, because like he would have absolutely played this year for Denver. Like Saric, and the good thing about Saric is like he has a specific skill set that kind of fits with what the Nuggets need. Right. But Holmes did too.
Right.
And I think that he would give them just a different layer of things that would have been able to help Denver.
Right.
So I do feel bad about that.
Make him bigger too. Like they could have played big with him on the court.
100%. And like I kind of like the idea of him playing next to Joker as well. Like I don't know how much he would have played, but just kind of replicating that Aaron Gordon role a little bit would have been nice.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen this year. Julian, I think, looks like he can play. He looks like he can handle a 15 to 20 minute per game role pretty consistently, and I'm happy for
even higher sometimes.
Yeah, that's the most important thing that I think came from summer league outside of the injury to Deron. And then Trey Alexander's kind of found money. That's a good thing for them. Like Denver, it wasn't expected that he would hit. It wasn't expected that.
It's crazy. Creighton, he was a really good player too, and then just did not get drafted.
It's funny, like, so John Hollinger actually ranked him like 21st or 22nd on his big board as just somebody who had a defined skill set that Hollinger thought could translate. Hollinger, I think, goes outside of the lines for big boards with the draft a little bit more than most draft guys. But I liked it, and I thought that it was interesting that somebody was high enough on him. And like you could see that. You can actually see his skill set playing out in real time for sure. Hunter Tyson, I'm going to give a little bit of I want to push back a little bit. I think that he played pretty well against Jarris Walker in this
Yes,
last
he
game.
did.
And that's an important one because those guys, like both power forwards in the same draft class, one of them drafted very high, one of them drafted 37th, and one of them looked better than the other, and it was Hunter Tyson. So there's something to that.
Yeah, it's just maybe if he can make enough of it this year, he can get into the rotation with the Nuggets. Because again, if Hunter Tyson can play, that's a floor spacer you can play off the bench. So you want him to be able to play. But so we'll see, man. It's just like I said, we'll find out what's going to happen. I think that for sure Julian and Trey have sold me. I think Hunter would be right after that. Maybe Duran's not there anymore. And then we can just, move forward and see what happens, man. But if they didn't get Russ and they didn't get Trey Alexander, their point guard situation will look horrific right now.
Yeah, the Pickett thing is just it's just really sad. This last game, he played 9 minutes, was apathetic in a lot of those minutes and just kind of walking around on the kind of in the corner in front of the Nuggets bench a little bit, kind of getting out of the way of what Trey Alexander, Hunter Tyson, guys like that were doing. And that's not what you want to see. Like, you want to see somebody who can absolutely impact the game and be involved in the game as a point guard. And like Pickett, for all like he's not a 0 guy. Like, he's a guy who should be getting involved in a variety of different ways, and he just actively wasn't. So I think that ship may have sailed.
His confidence got hit.
Yeah. So True Teller asks here, can someone answer, please? Is there a way for the Nuggets to get out of Jalen Pickett's contract without receiving a player in return so they can open up a roster spot? Yeah, they could cut him. That's the thing. Denver right now, financially, has the ability to cut him and add a new minimum contract player. They can do that, no problem. They are $6.5 million underneath the second apron. That is a hard cap for them because if they just use the Dario Saric taxpayer MLE, so they can't go over that number at any point in time. But they could cut Pickett if they so chose and go add a minimum contract. But that's all that they can really do. They could technically trade him to another team that has a spot, but you'd probably need to take a player back in that case.
How would you feel about getting Precious Achiuwa in place of Pickett or Justin Holiday, really, ostensibly?
Personally, I would prefer Holiday than Achiuwa. I think Achiuwa is the better player, but I just don't know if he's the right guy to kind of work into Denver's big man rotation when they already have so many other bigs that they've got, whether they can play or not. Would you feel good about Denver adding Precious Achiuwa when they've already got Deron Holmes on the shelf? They've got Zeke Naji, Saric that they just added. They've got DeAndre Jordan, Vlatko Čančar. I'm just not sure that Achiuwa really fits into what they're trying to do. They need a wing. I kind of like the idea. If they were going to cut Pickett, I think that they should go back and get Justin Holiday if they can.
Yeah. I would be good with Justin. There are some players that are still free agents and stuff right now that you could ostensibly look at. Justin Holiday, Gordon Hayward, Taylor Horton Tucker. Looks like he's still on the line a little bit, which, for a 15th man, 14th man, that'd be really good. But yeah, I definitely think they can add another wing. I think Precious would still work though, because he's a good approximation for what Deron is, just for 1 year. But maybe if they feel comfortable, they don't have to do that. But I do for sure think that they should open up Jalen Pickett's roster spot, because it just doesn't make any sense. And he's a second round pick, so you're not losing you're losing the what you traded up for him. But I think overall you're just getting you need another player that you can go to. And also Patty Mills apparently is a free agent as well, the Australian superstar himself.
There's a lot of guys that are free agents actually. Landry Shamet is a free agent. Isaac Okoro is a restricted free agent. Wesley Matthews, Taylor Horton Tucker, as you mentioned. Luke Kennard is a free agent, but I think he's going to get picked up by Memphis.
Doug McDermott.
Lonnie Walker.
Yeah.
And that's in terms of shooting guards. Let's see what the small forward situation looks like. Doug McDermott, as you mentioned. Chetty Osman. Reggie Bullock. Jay Crowder. Or did Jay get picked up by the Bucks again?
No, I haven't heard anything about Jay.
Okay, then I'd be okay with picking up Jay
Smith
Crowder.
Jr. still out there.
Yeah, there are plenty of names that I think Denver could go for that would probably be pretty helpful. But like I said in the second segment, it is very possible that Denver just goes into camp with this as the roster. They add DeAndre Jordan officially. They keep Jalen Pickett around, and they just go in with him and Trey Alexander battling it out for the third string point guard spot. And that's probably fine because whoever you're adding probably isn't going to play. But I also can justify, like, wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to add somebody else on the wing because Denver, like, not having Justin Holiday here,
right?
Their wings are pretty dire.
Yeah, and it's just I think the playoff showed you just need extra answers.
Yeah.
And because again, if you're taking a gamble on Christian Braun, then I think for me the gamble is the bench. Then, like, you answer the gamble with Christian by having more options on the bench.
100%. That's a good point. And like, you just want guys that can fit. And
so if you have a Hinge account, if you're actively in the dating atmosphere, everyone, when you're in a situation like this, if you don't have a guaranteed partner, like, you're going to get a commitment, you're getting long-term security, which is what you're looking for. Many of us are looking for that are participating in monogamous relationships.
Sure.
You leave your Hinge account open, and then you also have additional people on there that you could meet just in case until you get the commitment. So I think this is Calvin Booth's Hinge account. I think Christian Braun is the ideal fit. You hope that this is the long-term solution you're looking for. But hey, let's set those age ranges up to about 35, 36 years old, 37 years old. See if we can get Justin Holiday in there, something like that. Just run it back. Maybe the next date will be even better, with that person. So, you just want to at least keep your options open. That's what I would do.
You think Christian Braun would take a Hinge partnership? You think he would accept something like that and be a sponsor?
I think Christian knows he's my number one option, but should Christian not be able to meet the long-term commitment that I need, then hey, we have to go our separate ways.
So you got to do what you got to do, man. It's very, very important to keep those options open.
Ty Washington, didn't we want to draft him a couple years ago? Didn't you want to draft him?
He was an opportunity, like a guy for Houston that was apparently a backup point guard candidate, but he's so short. Like, he's like a 5'11" kind of guy.
Right.
Which, I mean, hey, if we're talking about Hinge, like, you list 5'11" on your Hinge account, that's a problem.
Yeah, man, there's a bunch of people on here that I think would be good players to add to the roster, man. I don't think the Nuggets should sit on their hands. And again, if Calvin Booth's of the mindset that, hey, we don't want to, we want to make sure we're developing our core. Well, I can speak for this, bro. Like, I get that, but Jalen is just not, and Hunter are just not NBA players yet. Like, they're just not, and they're already a year behind. Well, again, Hunter, if you want to keep Hunter to whatever, cool, but Jalen clearly is just not ready for that.
There's only a certain number of players that you can add to your account, like to your young core as well. Like, you want Deron Holmes, you want like maybe Trey Alexander gets in there. But like,
so yeah, the young core for sure: Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, and Deron Holmes. That we know that's the young core. That's 4 people already. And
it's a lot. Like, that's a lot. So Denver's they got to figure it out, man. You can't overload it. Okay. I think the last question here, very important question.
Yes.
You talked to me about CFB 2025.
Yes.
How are you enjoying your experience?
So my first player that I made for Road to Glory was a running back. I took him to Iowa first for his first year. He played really well. And then I took him to USC the next year, won the Heisman and won the national championship. And then this year we're at Michigan. And then he's on pace to win another Heisman, obviously. But Michigan runs the ball a lot more than pass. And so I think I had the first 1,300 and 1,300 year as a sophomore with my player with like 21 touchdowns. So, yeah, going crazy. And then I started –
Chris McCaffrey over here.
I just carded a quarterback at Michigan who's a freshman, and they're 8-0, and he's currently leading the Heisman race because it's way easier to be a quarterback on NCAA. And so – and also you can choose elite, blue chip. I forgot what the other 2 options are, Brian, that you can choose, but I start elite. I don't care about that struggle come up stuff. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. And so I got into Michigan right away with a quarterback because he's a 79 overall, and then Michigan didn't have anybody because JJ McCartney's gone. So I literally stepped in and started playing right away. So it's definitely difficult. Like, so here's the thing, Jay. It's not that I didn't want to, but when you start the player off, you start off when you're elite for running back or quarterback at a 79, and you have to go to a school that has you either probably starter or second string The problem is Colorado had 2 other backs that were both better. So I would have been on the bench, and it would take even way longer. And Shedeur Sanders is a 93 overall quarterback. So I'm not seeing the field. You know what I mean? So I couldn't even like fathom that. So for me, it's just go get a year. And the thing about NCAA, if you go get a year under your belt, you get energy points, and these energy points you get skill points, and the skill points you apply to your player, how you upgrade. It just takes forever to get enough to upgrade over the course of the season. And then from there, once you finish your first year, then you can be like, all right, bet. Like they'll literally ask you, do you want to enter the transfer portal? And then you can see all the schools that are interested in all the schools you can start at. So that's one of the reasons I did with the running back, and then just kind of, travel around, see different environments and all that stuff. So Ryan, if you're interested, I think it's been pretty fun so far.
I might check it out, man. It's been pretty busy over the course of these last couple of weeks, but I mean, everybody seems to be having fun. Stuff. I've seen all the memes of the people trying to kick.
Have you seen the videos?
Yeah, people trying to kick and call it in CFB 25, and it's just like going back and forth. Like there's no way you're actually like kicking.
What position would you build first? Running back, quarterback, receiver, corner, linebacker.
Ooh. I mean, so I played tight end and tackle in high school. That was what I played mostly. That's kind of boring. Obviously, you want to go play a skill position. You want to like go get the ball, and like running back is always the fun one because you're getting an opportunity to really see the field a little bit.
But they'll take you off the field for like a quarter of the time. By the way, even I won the Heisman, and they'll literally take me off the field for like 3 straight possessions. It's very frustrating.
Man, that's tough. But like quarterback, like you're going to stay on the field.
Right.
Like you're on the field for sure. So like that's the fun one. Like you want to do quarterback, you want to do running back, and then maybe receiver after that. But like I could see being a cornerback.
That'd be fun.
Like it's just fun to go on an island like that. Like that's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's been fun, man. Summer's been great, y'all. I went to Orlando 2 weeks ago. I'm headed to Denver, Texas, and Miami in August. And so I'm out here trying to like travel around, watch shows, play games. Because once training camp starts for the Nuggets, it's over. It is over. Like there's no more free time. It's over.
It's because Swipa is everywhere that you look at your YouTube, you look at your apps, you look at your social media accounts. Swipa's everywhere. So make sure to go give him a follow and make sure to go do all like to check out all the different programs that he's got going on. Also, I didn't mention this at the top. This is actually the first like live show that I've done since this happened. I re-upped with Mile High Sports for the next year, folks. So
shout out.
We'll be on here for the next year for sure. Very excited about it.
What are the guarantees in the deal?
Yeah, you already know.
100% guarantees.
100% guarantees. We're here for a year, and we'll just take it year by year after that. But I do want to make sure that everybody, and like thank you to all the support that I've gotten on here. Thank you to everybody that has been along for the ride. Pickaxe and Roll starting for where it was to where it is now. Like we're getting consistently like a bunch of views, and a lot of interaction from the crowd, and just very, very happy to be a part of this community. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the show. Really, really appreciate it. And I always appreciate my relationship with Swipa because we've like, I know he's joking about it, but like we do talk. We're friends off the field as well as on it. Blink twice if you're distressed.
Whatever he said.
Everybody, that is going to do it for this episode of Pickaxe and Roll, brought to be by our good friends over at BetOnline number 38. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out. We will talk to you guys next week.